and I go to image size. Here is that pixel dimension, right? Well, that's nice. That's pretty big, right? You can get really big. But the thing to remember is that in the world of production, when you're creating content, digital media, you often create for all of the environments. So even though this goes for web, and notice that it's 72, and I'm going to click this, and it's 19 by 20, the client may want your work to go to print. So therefore, if that is the case, which is an assumption, you should assume that you will always go to print. So you should always work in 300 DPI, because you can always go down with no loss. But you cannot take 72 DPI and push it to 300. So that's why you can do 300 DPI. Now, for us, which is not the real world, it is in the educational world, you only need to be concerned with creating it for the 72 DPI, because I am not going to ask you to now convert it to print. So that's why I wanted to give you a heads up. You are always safe when you work in 300 DPI. And you are, and so you want to always assume that the work that you're going to do is going to go to print. It may not. And you want to have it in writing that it's not going to. And what does writing mean? It means an email. It means that somebody has confirmed. Yes, Slashy.
So just to understand, the selections that you have right now, this is what you want?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So the reason why I'm saying this is I want you to understand what's important with what is expected in the professional world. So for our purposes, this is all good. And it might be fine for demo purposes too, right? This is not the actual document. You're only presenting. You haven't built the real deal. You're just presenting. So the point to be made is always, create your transparent background, and then you would create. Now, this is one screen. So to do 3 screens, you would come up here to Canvas, and you would triple the height. So in other words, 3 screens would be 3 times, 2 actually, because this is 1, 2 times 1080. I don't have my calculator, so I'm going to guess. And you want to put it to the top so that it will go to the bottom. The width stays the same. And then I say, okay. And was that image size up? I just did image size. Now I'm not even sure what I did, so I'm going to go back to history because it didn't do what I wanted to. So I'm afraid I did it. No, I did do canvas. That should have changed. Maybe, let's see, maybe it's just canvas size. I did do canvas size. Fit on screen. So here, let's do the 1080. Let's go back. I'm going to undo this. I'm undoing it because I'm not seeing what I want to see. Let's go back to image size because I can't see what it is. 1080. Okay, good. So let's go. What I want to do is bring the guides. You remember our rulers and guides? Remember, to get them is view, rulers. And so when you mouse down on the ruler, you can bring it down to here. So I'm going to bring my guide here. And I'm going to come back to the canvas again. So I want the height, and I want to push it up to the top and bring it down and give it to me 3,000. I should add the height to that, keep the width, And it is not doing that for me. Let's see where this is. So you could also keep this here. I'm going to do the crop tool. See how I'm stretching it out? Somehow it's not doing the canvas. So you know what? Let me just jump and do something. I'll use Rebecca's here, right here. Let me see if it's working for me. And this might be the web contents where the canvas is not going to work. So right now, this was for print. So let's go to Canvas. Canvas theoretically should do what I just did. Put it up here. Make the height be 3000. Canvas size. Put it to the bottom. And there it added the 3000. And that's what I'm expecting it to do. So on here, what I think what it's doing is it's forcing here on the edit board, it's not utilizing the canvas. Because you see, I can edit the artboard right up here. And what the artboard is doing is, let me come up here. See, duplicate artboard, I can make a copy of this and make that be the second screen size. Now the problem with that is this. This is a brand new tool that was not possible in Photoshop probably about 1 or 2 versions ago. And it's because of creating so many web pages. So they give you lots of artboards. You see, it's like 2 separate documents that I'm looking at right now. You notice that? Artboard 1, Artboard 2. So, but the problem for us is for presentation purposes, you really want to stretch it out so you can simulate the scroll. So don't, so in that context, do not use Canvas. So I'm going to back this up to take away that last artboard. So again, traditionally, as I showed you in Rebecca's hyperrealism, Canvas will stretch it, but it's not working with the web format because the web format created an artboard, and that is because, let's go back to new again. Go back to web. And right here, it automatically is creating, I'm going to open these up so we can see this. It's opening up an artboard right up here. So if I toggled that off, I probably could do Canvas. So watch again. Now you see, this is a new tool for me, and you see how I'm struggling? That is what you do with software. It's not because you're a beginner. It's often because something's happening and you have to peruse everything around it to find the answer. So you see, I toggled that off. Let's see what happens when it creates. No artboard, and it's locked again. Let's double click. Come up here to Image, Canvas. Let's see if it will do what we asked. And this is what I want you to do, because what you want to do is bring down a guide like this, just enough to see it. I mean, you could bring it down and it should stay there. So this would be one screen. And now I go to Image, Canvas. Again, bring it to the top. Again, bring it to 3000. And now you see it's giving you that extension that I was trying to do. So now you see we have 3 screen sizes. One is the first one, which has the header, and the header often has the logo and the navigational bar designed. Then one page of content of some kind, and then the footer. Now the footer sometimes can be a little less, so that's up to you. And get to Photoshop. And we were, here comes Matthew. We were over here with the web design. So as you can see, you know, it's always best to set your deliverable up with the parameters of what is going to be delivered. So when you go to the image size, I am at 72, which is web format. But if we took the resolution of something that was, let me see, let's go back to what I have here. I have this one. We looked at the one I have, image size here. See, it's 150. When you take this and you go to export, oops, I have to cancel first. File, export, say for web, and you go to JPEG, you would want a JPEG. You want to be sure to push it to 100, and that should save it as a 72 DPI. So let's just see what it does. I'm going to send it to my documents, downloads. There we go. I have to choose another location. Okay, let's just do desktop. This is my first PC I've ever had in my life. I mean, my personal PC. So I'm just going to open that up again. And so that you can see what resolution it is. You see, it's 72. So that's where you can keep that resolution. And again, you can change the size to be pixels right here so that you can force it, but it will keep the 72. So that's what I meant about working in the 300 DPI. When you save for web, it will bring it down to 72 dpi, which is really what they see. And then this way you can give them the pixel dimension that you want to give them, which is in here. So the pixel dimension, as we said, right? So when we do a new, and we do web, and the client wants a 19 by 20. And the thing to remember is, I'm going to show you a couple of other things here. As you notice with the, when we talked about this site, I'm going to call this up to be bigger. Let's go to media. On this image here, I want to show you this. Edit. I'm going to copy this, bring it up here, making a tab, paste it in there. And you see now it's just the image. I want you to see where when you're in Photoshop and you're doing the new size, the width that you have, it only goes from about here to there. And then if you're on a large screen, you have all this area, right? That's beyond this dimension right here. So welcome to web design. So your graphic design is often what they say is within right this, like this, 1920 or 1480, 1024 is one of the, you know, not too old, but is old. And then on here, this one, oh, I just lost it. Oh, hold on, sorry. This one, this is actually the dimension of what we're saying. And so beyond here is a design decision. Now, often, sometimes it's just color. But as you can see, they put a photograph back here. A very enlarged photograph that's probably blurred, so you don't get, it's probably scaled high. So blurring is a really nice technique when your resolution is poor and you can't fix it, just blur it. And then put something that's in focus in front of it. So that's one way you can use photographs that are not that good resolution. But so the point to be made, this is what we call a background of a web design. And as you can see, you get smaller and smaller. So this is really cropping it here for the laptop. And then on the tablet, they show you a cutoff so you know to scroll. So now the younger generations really know how to scroll, but the older generations do not. So you really have to, if your product or service is to serve the elders, be sure that you cut it off in design so that they can visually see it. So these are just some things that you come to learn in a web page design class, but it's something that I want you to understand when you are creating the content, that the parameter is just the most important information is within this dimension. So when you crop and so forth, so that's what I wanted to show you here, is when you're on a screen, let me just do that right now. Let's go to the web page that I had, which was it this one? Let's see here. I must have closed it out. Let's just call the United. United is a nonprofit. Or let's do not United Airlines, the Red Cross. So the Red Cross is an organization, and here comes Dana. As you can see, not that great. And I'm going to take off the donation page. Let's just go right to the home page. Home page is better. So on here, you might want to choose it. Now here you notice how they have the screenshots, right? So say you come upon, and again, I've given you links to web, you can actually capture just it right directly from a website. So say you like this design right here. In, again, a Mac would be Command 4, and then it would crop it, but on a PC, I use my snippet. And I say new, and then I just come up here and I just grab this. So now I save that, and I might call this save as, call this content, and it will be a ping. So we'll talk a little bit more about that because we are in web now. And I am going to put it in my downloads. Here we go. So that's one way to capture. And then let's go to another site. Let's do Habitat Roots. I can't even think of one. Anyone have a nonprofit? Let's see here. Nonprofit. So many. Oh, United Nations. Or WHO, right? That's a very important one as well. So again, here is something. And let's go down to the footer. Okay, say, now you can see, look at the United Nations, right? Now you can see why a footer exists, because people want to get right to the point. So here, this could be something if your organization is very large. Again, you could just save the bottom. Maybe it doesn't need to have all of this. So then again, I would take snippet, say new, approximate about here, save as, and call this footer. and downloads. So now in Photoshop, to get back to Photoshop, on here, always remember to save as soon as you have created something. So I'm going to do save as. Always on my computer, I upload things manually. And we've talked about this, let's say it again. Web design, always underscore higher number. Right now, this is my first version. Put it in downloads, make it a PSD as always. And now again, I'm going to open up those files, and the drag and drop lets you open up more than one. So I have these two. And they will be 72 DPI. So now I can bring these up. You have to use your arrow here to get back to the page, which is what you're dragging and dropping them into. So you have your file here. I'm going to drag and drop this down into here. And as you can see, Control T to scale it down to fit. I'm sorry, back that up on there, escape. Control T, whoops, don't want that. Here comes Lewis. Control T. Where are you, Control T? There we go. In the old days, we used to have this shift key. You don't need the shift key anymore. So I'm trying to get it to be centered on the page. So as you see, I've got to keep moving it over to get the absolute size. And there, slightly up. And then double click. So then I can bring it down. Space bar, don't forget, moves the canvas up. And again, the important part is, whoops, is to be able to get it cropped on there. And then the other one I have, which was the content one, is to drag and drop it, use your move tool, and now I'm bringing that in because that's the one I like for here, for the content page. You're only needing 3 screens.
By the way, this came out from the pharmaceutical division. It's their response to the information.
So that's important to know on that. So now you see I'm getting the content ready to be placed up here. And you can go to the organization of your nonprofit as such. Let's go back to here. And you can call, we mentioned the talk about the logo. So here is the logo. You can bring this in as such as this. Again, I'm using my snippet tool because I'm on a PC. Gonna move this away. And I'm gonna grab in the logo like so. And now I can change it up under here so that you can change up what their designs are. And so you pull that down and then you drag and drop it into here. And so then I can put this up and then I can design with a whole new menu what I'd like them to see. So another one, like for instance, I might want to go to another site here. Greenpeace is a very popular nonprofit. And let's take a look at what they have. So you can actually go to other nonprofits that you think are very good to encourage, let's see where this is. Oh, this is, they're online on here. And it's international. So, you know, right away, you can see how we're in the US, it's English. So, you know, this is very straightforward. And so they certainly, in fact, let's see what they really have. So I'm just going to take it and do, and so you see that took a little bit of a time. And so there we go. So now this, they don't have a menu here, right? They don't have a menu at all. And so the point to be made is you can decide, so this is a generic one. So they're asking me, where are you? So I'm going to click that. And so they serve everyone. And so now this is for the United States. So this is why it's important to know you can decide upon what menu you want to have. And so this is where, you know, whatever you want to be able to utilize within your site, pick it up from one other site so that you can put it into yours. And as you can see, there's this lovely design here. You see, I don't know if you can see this, the screenshot. Can you see this pattern up here, right here? It's like a line, like a topography. Anyone seeing that? No? You may not be able to see. There's a faint pattern behind it.
I can see the pattern. Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you this is another.
Yeah, it's visible.
Very visible. So what, as you can see, what they have here is they have a layer that is a white rectangle that has, it's very blurry on the edges with transparency. So that would be a layer that you would give a programmer and to tell them, we call it a background tile. This is a background tile. And so that this is something that you want to have in the very back, and you would create that in Photoshop. So anyway, so that's how you capture designs that you see that you like, and this is how you pull them back into Photoshop to be able to see what you like, to design what you want your page to be. And again, only 3 screens on that. And so this is your crop tool up here. So again, if I just took this one that Dylan had done, this is your crop tool. So you can, if you bring in the whole screen, you would crop it. You would use this crop tool like this and get it right down to what you want it to be as such. So that's how you use the crop tool right here. And then you would double click it or say yes. And then you would bring that into your layout here. So let me just show you on that. So again, come up here, I'm gonna crop it to this. Double click. I'm gonna bring this down. And on here, you see all the layers? I may, if I drag and drop it, it may only bring this here, so I want to flatten it. And this is how you flatten in Photoshop. What does flatten mean? Flatten means that you need to merge all your layers so that it's you can drag and drop it if you are using a PSD. So right here, I would say merge visible. Now I can drag and drop that, whoops. Now I can drag and drop it with the move tool into here. And then again, don't overwrite your source. So I could scale this down and bring this in to be part of my design, if this is what you're looking to do. So that's just covering cropping tools in Photoshop. Any other questions on the assignment for Thursday, which is your midterm? So you want to composite different web designs onto one document like I'm doing here, keeping only 3 screens. One is your header, which is where we have the logo and the navigational bar. And the other one is your footer, which can be generic like this, or it's always the bottom design of a page, always. And we call that a footer in web design.
So the web design is due on Thursday, and at the same time it's the collage?
The collage is just your progress. You do not have to be done with the collage until next Tuesday, Matthew.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have that deadline date on up there. So you have till the Monday. I mean this Tuesday of next week.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we just want to keep seeing progress, and I want to answer your question. So I'm going to go to Lewis's and Splash's questions that we had from last time. I want to demonstrate some more tools within Photoshop. So to just clarify, Splashy, when I was talking about the emblem, you remember in front of your 2020? I'm sorry, not Splashy, Lewis. Lewis?
Yeah.
So this is what I meant by an emblem. When you have something like this,
No, I think that might have been for Splashy. I don't think I had anything with this.
Right. No, this is the one with you, Lewis.
Oh, okay.
On top of your 20.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To lock it down.
Like a little crown over it.
Yeah, and also you want to come up with that hook. Remember I talked about got milk?
Yeah.
You want to talk about, like whatever we are wanting to hear about the, everybody going back again to your site.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing restart or do-over or something.
Restart is good.
Yeah, restart or
exactly.
hashtag do-over or something like that.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to come up with, to be thinking about that. And what's great about a Zoom situation, your peers, your students, your classmates hear what you're talking about. So I like that. What did you say? Restart, was it?
Yeah, I was gonna do restart or do-over. I'm thinking of which one.
Restart. Anyone. Definitely. To me, those are the kind of things. Very good thinking on that. That's the hook.
And then I was gonna hashtag it right on the top of the 0, like a crown or something, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was thinking, was that you had the 2020 and over it could be.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Because so here's something that you have to remember. You can make this bigger.
Okay.
So 2020 kind of gets a little bigger so that we can see it behind the emblem.
So it'd be one of those things where you see 50th anniversary across the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of thinking this, these things that are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So the other thing, Splash, are you with us, right?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I wanted to show you, I called up some things here. 2 of these. This one I wanted to check out. I wanted to show you how to do a glow.
All right.
So I have 10 minutes, so let me do that. So again, we double click. Remember, we always duplicate because we can mess things up. This is if your resolution is not that good. Let's see what this is. Image size. Yeah, it's not going to be that good. So watch, what's going to happen is when I go to 150, it's going to get tiny. But I want to show you how you can make it become very good resolution. And the only reason why we can do this is because it is graphics and not a photograph. Photographs are really a lot more work when you have a out of focus situation, how to get it in focus, or bad resolution, how to get it in good resolution. It takes sometimes hours, sometimes easier to hire a photographer. But when it's graphic, you can create paths around this and recreate it to be high resolution. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. So right away, let's see what our magic eraser can do. We wanted to put it up to 32. Pretty good, pretty good. And then I could actually go a little bit more, I believe. So I'm going to go back and increase it to be more like 40. See how much cleaner it is? I'm going to go to 50 to see if I can get it even cleaner.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I could go, this is all good. See, much better. You notice how I had a lot of work to do if I left it at that? Now there might be still some problems here, so I'm going to make another layer down here. I'm going to put behind it a color that's not in there. Let's call it red. And I'm going to fill it with the paint bucket. So I want to be sure it's clean.
Nice.
You see? Okay, it looks really clean to me. Okay, good. So now I'm going to zoom out, fit all on screen. Now I'm good. And I'm going to hover over this and click with Control. If you're on a Mac, it's Command. That's the only difference really between the two, except for a couple of other things, but mostly Control and Command. Now I've got my marching ants, but I only, yeah, you see, now I got my marching ants.
So on the Mac is Command and what again?
You hover over it. So let me do it again. The thumbnail, just Command on a Mac. You hover and hit it, and you'll see a marquee in the icon. Click down, and boom, it's the marching ants snap to the subject, the content of the layer. So now you see it's got everything around it. I must inverse it. Select, inverse. I'm on the wrong layer. Select, inverse. Oh, you know what? I was on the wrong layer before. Let's go back. Hold on. Hover over this. Oh, you know what it probably is the white on here. I've got white. That's the problem. So in other words, there is white right on the edges here. You see? See the white edge?
Yeah, I see it.
So now what I need to do is I need to get rid of that because that's where the marching ants are snapping within that. And so the inverse is not working. Let me zoom out. Take my marquee like this. Just zoom like this over here and delete. And come over here and delete. But I'm on the wrong layer. You see how I'm on the wrong layer? I'm on the red layer. So turn that off and just pick this up like this. Hit delete. So you just have to, when things aren't working, it's always often you're on the wrong layer. The computer cannot read your mind. It only knows what you select.
Okay.
So now let me just be sure I have that white. So I'm going to trash this one. Bring in another one. Fill it with red. There you go. Now there's no white on the edge. I hover over it, click, and see it's right on the, see that now you notice it's right on the actual logo.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I want. Now I come up here to my paths and I want to make this, well, first of all, I could save. Let's do select. Remember, this saves the marching ants.
Yeah.
Took me a long time to get that. I don't want to lose it. So I want to save it and I'll just call it what it is. Now I can use that on any picture. So if I call up a picture like this, let me try to find a picture here. Let's call up this one, right? Just for fun, because I know this is from last week, Splashy. I'm gonna pull this down and I'm gonna bring you in here. Let me see your layers. Whoops, I don't wanna fill. Where are my layers? Here. I'm gonna merge you so I can bring you in. And the point to be made, as I show everyone, you can use the marching ants to be a cookie cutter. So you see I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to get a little bit more of the face. And now I can come back to my marching ants, select, load. Now I have my marching ants. I want to inverse it. I'm on the layer that I want to inverse. You see? Splashy.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's how you cookie cut. So that's why the marching ants are so important. And so now the point to be made is that I could go back to my path and now I can stroke this. Let me go back. Let's bring back the marching ants. Let me come over here. I need to make a layer. When in doubt, students always ask me, should I make a layer? The answer is always yes. Always, always yes. You cannot go wrong when you make a layer. When things are on top of each other, it's a nightmare because you have to separate it. So layers keeps everything separate. So you can decide upon whether you like it or not, or you want to change it or not. So I'm going to put a glow on this and I'm going to put a stroke on this. So the quick way of the stroke would be up here under layer style stroke, right? That will do it. And here's the glow. I'll come back to the path because that's a little sticky, but you could create a path also to create a stroke with a brush. But let's just do it quickly because this is what we love about Photoshop when these tools are here. Things can be done very quickly. So let's get a stroke. Let's get a gold stroke. So I'm going to do stroke. I'm on the right layer. I'm going to choose my color, gold. Up here. And that's pretty good. I could choose, don't forget this is web. So the colors, I could choose for web colors. Now you see we're doing web design. This is your collage, it's for print. So remember, if you're working in web, you want to use these colors. When you're doing print, you get all these colors. So I'll just use this because this is a good gold color. So now I'm in stroke. So inside basically means, and I want this option to be in my path tool. It was in the earlier versions, but now it's not. So I'm always struggling trying to find it. It's a really important option. What option means is that when you have the marching ants, do you want the stroke on the outside of the marching ants? Or do you want it to be in the middle, right where the marching ants are, or on the outside? So that's like, like you're on a roller coaster. Do you want to be on the outside of the roller coaster? No, I want to be on the tracks. Or do you want to be on the other side of the roller coaster? So the stroke makes a big difference. And so you can decide. So I'm going to say outside. I want the stroke to be outside. And I have less than a minute, folks. So I'm just going to choose this and we'll do the glow. So now you see I have more things that I could not see before because it's